All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mindgasms. So I am Andrew, aka Skeptical Mindgasms, for the purposes of this video, because this is some terrible shit that I'm going to talk about. But I am skeptical because basically there's no evidence for it so far, and this news is coming from tabloids. So I'm, of course, going to talk about the far-right white supremacist Lauren Southern and the New York Post media outlet claiming that Ezra Miller, who played the Flash, who is non-binary, which I had no idea of until this story, is a pedophile groomer of a child who multiple children apparently, one of whom is 18 currently, and one of whom I believe was apparently 11 at the time. So this is huge news all over the Twitter sphere, as we would call it. So, but it's a very consequential and terrible thing if it's true. So you can see the New York, you can see there the New York Post tweeted the story that their protection order was granted for a 12-year-old, 12-year-old, not an 11-year-old, against Ezra Miller after cult claims. So there's all this stuff about him using cult tactics and apparently trying to basically trying to groom a 12-year-old into seeing themselves as non-binary. And so I'm going to talk about Lauren Southern's take on this, some of her video on it, and go into the actual actual New York Post article here as well and give my thoughts on it. Okay, here we go.
Hey everyone, I hope you are doing well today. Let's have a chat about what the fuck is going on with Ezra Miller, star of the hit TV show The Flash. Maybe you've seen him in a few other movies like Perks of Being.
I think she means the movies because I'm not an expert on the Flash, but I'm pretty sure the guy who played him in a TV show was a different actor, and he played the Flash in the Justice League movies. But I'm going to double check that.
Being a Wallflower or Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. If you only know Ezra from these movies, you may not have heard that I'm going to get all the pronouns wrong in this video, so forgive me from the start. But Ezra does not, in fact, identify as a man nor a woman. In 2018, oh my gosh, okay. I'm just going to say he, okay? All right? We're going to stick with that. He stated that he identifies.
Oh, he's right, or she's right, actually. They was in the TV show as well. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought it was a different actor who played the Flash in the TV show versus the movie.
As barely even human and is now using the pronouns they, them. And well,
barely identify as human. So, I mean, this sounds like some, I don't know, at least the way it's being presented, it sounds like some crazy gender shit. But then, but also, like, if people want to see themselves that way, who cares as long as they don't go on to, like, try to indoctrinate people and groom them or some shit, as she and this article claims is being done.
I can't say if the two of these things are linked or not. It appears that since his announcement in 2018, Miller's life has gone straight off the frickin' deep end. In fact, currently, headlines are stating he is on the run from police.
See the language there? Headlines are stating? Say kidnaps teenager and is on the run. So again, though, like, I'm not trying to defend this person. If this shit is true, it's fucking awful. And if someone is actually going around pedophile grooming children, they should be arrested and go to jail for the rest of their fucking lives. But at this point, this is mostly being reported on by tabloids like the Daily Beast and TMZ, or from where the original stories came from before the New York Post decided to report on it.
After kidnapping a teenager, to which I tweeted out in response, one of Hollywood's first they-thems has now kidnapped a teenager and is on the run.
Is Ezra Miller really one of the first? I don't know about that.
Can I use the word groomer now? Or are we still pretending that's a crazy conservative
Okay,
myth?
so also this, even in the New York Post article here, it doesn't say that this has been confirmed that they kidnapped a teenager, and that nothing has been confirmed that they were trying to groom a child. But in the article itself, there are more terrifying and specific details.
Now, I've received a lot of criticism for this tweet.
Gee, I wonder
Some
why.
people pointing out, Lauren, the girl is 18. It's hardly kidnapping or grooming. Others saying, Lauren, Ezra's gender identity has
See, that's a good point, especially if at this point the girl is 18. But if she was like if she was 12 or something at the time that that Ezra Miller was supposedly grooming her, then obviously that's fucking pedophilia shit. And you can still do some culty indoctrination shit to someone, even if they're 18, of course, obviously. So we'll see.
absolutely nothing to do with his alleged crimes. It's bad faith to link these two things. And I truly wish my critics were correct, but sadly, Ezra's radical progressive politics has almost everything to do with this story.
Everything.
A story which does not begin
I
when
doubt that his political ideology made him this crazy trans person. This is one thing that annoys me about right wingers, that, you know, they're the I don't know, non-binary people, I guess, tend to be that way. But even like trans people, the trans people that I've met, they don't seem to be all like fucking woke crazy lefties or some shit like the way that conservatives paint them to be all the time.
when this girl is 18, but instead when she met Miller for the first time at the age of 12.
There you go.
But before we get into
There
this,
you go. Yeah, like obviously it's pedophile grooming if Ezra did like try to do that sort of creepy shit when this girl was 12.
absolute clown world fueled roller coaster of an adventure, I want to say a quick thank you to this channel's sponsor, Noble
Okay, I
Gold.
don't care about
347.
don't
Now,
care about
a
that.
video was actually released in 2020 of Miller choking out a young woman at a bar in Iceland, after which he was escorted from the premises. Since then, Miller
Okay,
has
so that's some crazy shit for sure, but that has nothing to do with this story. That's just like piling on extra crazy shit to poison the well so you have a less favorable view of Ezra Miller. And again, I'm not trying to defend Ezra Miller. They sound like a fucking crazy and terrible person, but this is based on the total lack of evidence basically that we have so far.
has only gotten more and more violent and confrontational, even publicly flaunting this trend. Just this January, Miller posted a video saying KKK members need to kill themselves, and if they don't do it, he'll do it for them.
Okay, again, this is just more unrelated crazy shit that Ezra Miller supposedly did rather, that has nothing to do with this pedophile grooming accusation, which again is, I mean, I'm against anyone killing even Nazis. I'm against anyone killing anyone for their political ideology, even even if it's like the most terrible fucking political ideology imaginable, like Nazism is. But I'm against violence, or against committing violent acts on someone unless they are actually threatening your life. So that's like being violent against Nazis is obviously going way fucking overboard.
Hi, this is Ezra Miller. This is a message for the Beulahville chapter of the North Carolina Ku Klux Klan. It's me. Look, if y'all want to die, I suggest just killing yourselves with your own guns. Okay? Otherwise, keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, and you know what I'm talking about. And then, we'll do it for you if that's really what you want.
I don't know what he's talking about when he says, you know what I'm talking about. And again, promoting violence is fucking terrible, but the like Nazis are better targets than almost anyone else. But again, I would never advocate for shooting anyone unless they're about to kill me or someone I love.
Okay, talk to you soon, okay? Bye!
I'm no fan of the KKK, but I'm pretty sure murder is still illegal, no matter how much you dislike someone.
Yeah.
Fast forward to the 27th of March, 2022, and he's getting...
Okay, so this is another, like, totally unrelated story to the supposed pedophile grooming stuff, yelling obscenities in Hawaii bar.
himself arrested in Hawaii.
Stop talking about the main story a long time ago.
Charged with disorderly conduct and harassment after confronting and lunging at other patrons at a karaoke bar. A few days after that, on the 29th, the couple who were living with Miller at a hostel filed for a restraining order against the guy, claiming that after the karaoke bar incident, he returned home, stole their things, and told them, "I will bury you and your slut wife." A judge obviously granted them their order. Fast forward only...
That's fucked up. Again, it's unrelated to the pedophile grooming shit, but that's fucked up. Like, she's poisoning the well with legit fucking crazy shit that happened, if it's true. Again, it's people saying this stuff. The fact that a restraining order was filed by a judge, though, does sound like that one particular claim of him literally swearing at and threatening that couple. That sounds like that piece of this is the only piece that's been confirmed so far. So it's definitely fucking bad to literally threaten to fucking kill people. And if you get a restraining order against you for that, then you're probably guilty. Although people can be falsely accused, of course. But at least that aspect of this story seems like it's definitely true.
Another few weeks, April 19th this year, and Miller is taken into custody yet again in Hawaii for throwing a chair at a 26-year-old woman who was left with a half-inch cut in her forehead. 2022 is just not Ezra Miller.
That's fucked up if it's true also.
Miller's year. He is getting arrested constantly. And I know so far everything I've mentioned doesn't really have to do with his gender identity or politics, but if you watch his arrest videos, your mind might change on that.
I'm not transgender, non-binary. I don't want to be searched by a man. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man. I claim my Fourth Amendment rights. I told myself when I get assaulted for NFT crypto art. What's your name? What's your badge number?
Assaulted?
Tell me your name and your badge number.
Assaulted for NFT crypto art? Like, obviously this is crazy shit, but this doesn't seem to have anything to do with his gender other than the first thing he said about gender there. Like, again, this is crazy shit, but it doesn't seem that related.
Ezra.
Full name, full badge number.
No, well, you the ones that complained.
I was. You said get off the road. I got off the road.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you
I walked on the edge of the road.
Central 131-150.
So what did I do wrong?
Getting arrested for
You
disorderly
spit in somebody's
Okay, a
face.
guy in that bar declared himself as a Nazi. I have it on film, and he attacked me.
Okay.
Unlawful. Hey,
Yeah, so I mean, like, it seems like maybe he's lying about that person attacking him, probably just spit in that guy's face because he was a Nazi. And again, I wouldn't approve of that either. But I mean, Nazis have a terrible fucking ideology, and they're probably most of them are terrible people. But this way of just spitting in their face because they're Nazis is ineffective. It's the idea that Daryl Davis, the black musician, has is a lot better because he, you can see in this documentary about him called Accidental Courtesy that he, as a black man, has befriended KKK members and white supremacists and converted literally at least dozens, or I think maybe even possibly hundreds of them by becoming friends with them. And then they see, oh, black people aren't all bad. And they eventually, he eventually converts them and they stop being Nazis. So, you know, violence is not the way to prevent people from being Nazis. But again, this whole altercation with Ezra Miller seems fucking crazy.
you just touched my penis. Please don't do that. I'm not transgender, non-binary. I don't want to be searched by a man.
Sorry, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm not a sir. I'm transgender, non-binary. Please don't refer me as sir. It's not a man I use.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said earlier too, for the record, that with the transgender people that I've met, I've never met a single transgender person who is non-binary so far, because, you know, for most trans people, You're born as a biological male, and then you see yourself as a woman, so you present as a woman, and then you want other people to see you as a woman, or vice versa. You were born as a biological woman, but you see yourself as a man, so you transition into seeing yourself and presenting yourself as a man, and you want other people to see you as a man. I don't think this binary thing is actually very popular among trans people, and I think that all of these crazy ways that Ezra Miller is acting would certainly not be endorsed by the vast majority of trans people, to say the least. Not that I can speak for them, but again, just the limited number who I've met.
I was just trying to be respectful.
You failed to do that again. That is an act of intentional bigotry, and it is a technical hate crime according to U.S. federal law. Please call me they, them, theirs. You can use the term mix.
Ezra obviously does not represent every single LGBTQ community member.
Thank you.
Just as he doesn't represent all men or all people of his ethnicity. It is, however, worthwhile to note Ezra, like seemingly many other progressives today, feels his gender identity is basically a get-out-of-jail-free card. While the police are quite politely attempting to search and take Ezra to the station, the Star continually brings up their transgender and non-binary status, even claiming that the police are potentially committing a federal hate crime.
But he's not literally using it as a get-out-of-jail-free card. It's more of his fucking cringy behavior, for sure, but he's not trying to get out of jail free because of it. At least that, not even in the video does it seem that way. He's just accusing them of a hate crime, which, I mean, is ridiculous in these circumstances, but it might be technically legally true. I don't know.
By saying "sir" and then apologizing and correcting themselves. It's so obvious that Ezra is using their gender identity as a social bludgeon to regain power over the situation. And this trend doesn't stop here, which brings us to this week in June, where the chaos has gone well beyond a few rowdy drunk fights and into full-on accusations of grooming and kidnapping.
Fucking finally.
June 8th, the parents of an 18-year-old activist named Gibson Iron Eyes from the Standing Rock tribe came out and accused Ezra Miller of grooming their child.
In court documents obtained by TMZ. See, again, I'm not discounting this person making this claim, but if the documents are from, if the story is originally from TMZ, that makes me very suspect, because they're suspicious, rather, because they're literally a tabloid. So, I mean, I hope this is not true, but if it is, again, of course, that's fucking awful, and he should get the full consequences.
The documents which TMZ got a hold of are from the Standing Rock Tribal Court and seek an intervention alleging Miller has been involved with their child since Gibson was 12, and that the two met while they were both...
So, like, who are these people, by the way? Like, pediatrician Sarah Jumping Eagle alleging that Miller has been involved with their child since they were 12. The judge did sign the request for the protective order, like I said, though. So the protective order, that really sounds fucking bad, and also the restraining order against the couple. So I don't know, that it gets more into this in the article that I will get into a little bit, but I don't know if he allegedly kidnapped this 12-year-old who is now 18. Like, this sounds like some pretty fucking dark shit, but it's important to be skeptical with all of this too, because these kind of stories get ramped up and then spread everywhere by media, and then later, if we find out that there were some falsehoods, those don't get reported on as much. But yeah, this sounds fucking dark right now.
Both protesting for the land back reclamation movement in 2016, stating Ezra, who was 23 at the time, took an immediate liking to their 12-year-old daughter. And there's...
You didn't even read the part, all of the highlighted part that she highlighted there. Presumably took an immediate and apparently innocent liking to Tokata. So I don't know, like, how can you? I guess you, and as an adult, as a 23-year-old person, you can have an innocent liking for a 12-year-old if it's in a totally non-sexual way. But I mean, that is fucking weird.
There's actually some pretty solid proof for this. Gibson Iron Eyes used to be named Takata Iron Eyes before becoming non-binary transgender. According to Takata's parents, Miller was the crux for this.
Okay, so also, we don't know the political ideology of the parents is not mentioned. So it is possible, and I'm not saying this is the case, but it is possible that this girl transitioning has nothing to do with Ezra Miller supposedly being a pedophile groomer, and maybe they're right-wing or right-leaning parents, so they're against that in general. But I don't know. Just keep that in mind. Their political ideology is not stated here.
Identity change. And you can actually find articles and evidence of Takata and Miller's meetings before Takata became Gibson and ran away with the star. Well, this isn't necessarily documentation from their first meeting in 2016.
Sleek? What's sleek.com? I'm going to look this up right now as I continue playing this.
An interview between a 14-year-old Takata and Ezra was published August 16th, 2018 in Sleek magazine, where they discussed the protests that they met at and where Takata is, once again, still a 14-year-old child doing an interview on politics with Ezra Miller for whatever reason. In fact, the parents allege Takata was flown out to London before this Sleek magazine.
So apparently this Sleek magazine is a professional audio-visual company who specializes in weddings, conferences, funerals, baby dedications, concerts, corporate presentations, and advertising, etc. We also develop website software, app software testing. Okay. That doesn't sound like they usually report on this sort of thing.
Interview in 2017 to meet with Ezra on the set of Fantastic Beasts, a movie series which she was a huge fan of. The parents claim things went sideways when they discovered he attempted to sleep in the same bed as the 14-year-old girl, gave her alcohol, marijuana, and LSD on this trip when she came to visit.
According to court documents, Miller allegedly, so even the court is saying it's alleged. So that's important to remember also. The parents allege that he tried to sleep in the same bed, provided her with alcohol, marijuana, and LSD. So if all of this shit is true, then that's really fucked up. But the word allegedly is very important there. So like if it's true, that's fucked up. But it's possible that it's not true. I'm not trying to defend Ezra Miller in this. Like again.
Over the years, Miller stayed in contact with Takata, even offering to pay for her schooling at age 16. And eventually in December 2021, the parents alleged that Miller convinced her to drop out of her private school, at which point she took off and began traveling with the older man. Obviously, being decent and sane parents, they flew to Miller's home to go find where their teenage daughter.
And that when they flew to Vermont in January to check on Gibson, their child had bruises on her body and was not in possession of their own driver's license, car keys, or bank cards. Since then, Gibson and Ezra have been traveling together, Gibson's parents claim. So they make sure to say allegedly and claim a lot of this stuff. I'm just reading her highlighted parts verbatim because she's leaving out words that she supposedly highlighted herself.
Was and discovered her at his residence without her driver's license, her car keys, her bank card, or any other items she would have needed to navigate her life independently. Obviously, sending up some red flags for those parents. The couple are seriously terrified for their daughter and essentially just state that Ezra has been involved in flying around to visit Gibson, Takata, ever since, well before she was 18. And it's only now that Gibson is properly 18 years old that they're traveling together publicly, even being spotted at clubs in Hawaii together in videos published by TMZ. And yes, Takata was there for all of those events where he was having manic arrest episodes in Hawaii, which gives a lot more weight to Takata's parents' ultimate conclusion that they told the courts, which was Ezra uses violence, intimidation, threat of violence, fear, paranoia, delusions, and drugs to hold sway over a young adolescent Takata. Now, here's where shit gets really weird, and also why.
Okay, so this is, I'm going to stop here because she gets into, you know, talking about how the pedophile grooming shit comes from this hardcore left-wing ideology, and it's what corrupts all this shit. So that really annoys me because right-wingers always blame pedophilia exclusively on left-wingers, and obviously some right-wingers are pedophiles and they can be just as fucking creepy as left-wingers. But anyway, I'm gonna just get into just a little bit of the parts of the actual article from the New York Post here. I tried to go to the one from the Daily Beast, but there's a fucking paywall, and I'm not giving money to the Daily Beast because they're a tabloid. So, protection order granted for 12-year-old against Ezra Miller after quote-unquote cult claims. A Massachusetts judge granted a 12-year-old non-binary child and their mother a temporary harassment prevention order against the Flash actor Ezra Miller, who is also non-binary, after the family claims the actor menaced them. I'm going to skip ahead here. According to court documents reviewed by the Daily Beast, the newly filed incident happened on February 2nd at a downstairs neighbor's home in Greenfield. Actually, I'll go a little bit up from that because I wait. Authorities have not been able to serve the papers to the 29-year-old Miller, who is also non-binary, because they went missing after apparently posting memes on their Instagram story earlier this week, seemingly mocking the police's inability to find them. That's fucked up if it's true. And then apparently deleting their account on Wednesday, according to court documents reviewed by the Daily Beast. Okay, the Daily Beast is a fucking tabloid, too. The newly filed incident happened on February 2nd at a downstairs neighbor's home in Greenfield. Again, I keep saying this, and no matter how many times I say it, people are going to say I'm defending Ezra Miller, which I'm sure as fuck not. But, you know, it's important to remain skeptical until we have more confirmed information, especially because a lot of this information originally came from TMZ and the Daily Beast. But if this is true, that's totally fucking terrible and dark shit, and they should go to jail forever. Ezra Miller should. Oh yeah, something about the night reportedly took a turn when the child's mother mentioned she was doing some traveling with quote-unquote her tribe of people, which Miller found to be cultural appropriation. Then a fight ensued over the board game Parcheesi when Miller claimed it had Rastafarian roots. The visiting neighbor, who is half black, allegedly questioned Miller as to which sect of the Rastafari movement originated from. Oh, that's funny. At this point, Ezra explodes and starts screaming directly into my face, the neighbor told the Daily Beast. So we're relying on the word of the neighbor for this in this case. And I'm not saying that person's not trustworthy, but I don't know. I don't know any of these people involved. So I don't know if Ezra Miller is trustworthy. He certainly is not presented that way, so he doesn't seem trustworthy at all. But I don't know the neighbor either. So I don't know. Ezra Miller sounds a lot less trustworthy, but we're taking the word of this neighbor in this particular instance, so I don't know. So he came back again. Miller allegedly went in on the mom, who dresses in goth attire, and accused her of being a witch and a vampire. Do you want to drink my blood? Do you want to drink my blood, do you? They reportedly yelled. Miller was wearing a bulletproof vest, and I had no idea until later that they were armed, recalled the visiting neighbor. Well, that's fucking creepy as hell if it's true. But again, it's the neighbor saying this, so I don't know. But he apparently was arrested for disorderly conduct and harassment on March 29th in Hawaii. I think that was related to this incident, supposedly. Miller allegedly shifted back to the child, who was 11 at the time, moving their chair closer to the actor, reportedly hugging them in an uncomfortable manner and touching their hips. That's fucking creepy, if that's true, again. Miller also allegedly told the child, who mentioned an interest in horses, that they would get several horses and the youth could help them care for them at Miller's Vermont farm, bribing them with horses. That reminds me about how someone accused Elon Musk of a flight attendant, or no, wait, a masseuse / flight attendant on Elon Musk's private jet was giving him a massage, and he turned over and showed, and allegedly, according to her, showed her his hard dick and offered her a horse for if he gave her a hand job, a horse for a hand job. That's just hilarious, which might also not be true. But that offering someone horses as a bribe for sexual favors is a similarity there. Okay, so Miller subsequently apologized for the outburst and returned to the house on June 4th dressed as a cowboy. They said, this guy sounds fucking crazy. Sorry, not guy. This person sounds fucking crazy. The family has not seen or heard from them since. The Post reached out to Miller's representative for comment. And last week, a woman named Sarah Jumping Evil claimed Miller has brainwashed, assaulted, and possibly drugged her 18-year-old daughter, Tokata Iron Eyes, after grooming her for years. Miller is now traveling with Tokata and several of the young women in California, she told the Post. That doesn't sound good. Jumping Eagle also inferred that Miller was behaving in a cult-like manner in a recent tweet. Okay, in a recent tweet. So, according to a tweet, what does cult-like matter even mean? So Miller has also been accused of other wrongdoings and was arrested twice in less than a month in Hawaii this year. Ezra Miller is a spiritual voyeur, dabbling in various indigenous people's spiritual beliefs, combining with voodoo, using these beliefs in Dakota Iron Eye's mind, luring more people in cult-like manner, Jumping Eagle wrote last week. So this is his theory. Maybe true, but that sounds really speculative. And like I said, Miller's been accused of other wrongdoings and arrested twice in less than a month in Hawaii this year. So again, the way this story is being presented makes it seem like Ezra Miller is fucking crazy and like he is a pedophile groomer, but I'm skeptical for various reasons. And again, I'm sure as fuck not defending Ezra Miller, because if this shit is true, it's fucking awful and they should go to prison for the rest of their fucking lives. But this information first came from TMZ and the Daily Beast, which are tabloids, and we're relying on hearsay from people who are making these accusations. And it's Lauren Southern who's promoting this, and I'm suspicious of everything she says because she's a white supremacist and a far-right person. And she says that she's not a white supremacist, but she promotes the Great Replacement Theory, which is literally a conspiracy theory about how brown people are replacing all the white people. And people get away with that shit by saying that they're afraid of supposedly white culture being displaced, but there's no such thing as white culture. And why you fucking care anyway? And also, I'm suspicious of her because she's super fucking hot, and so it's easier for people like me to believe her, and for especially like any young straight guys. I guess I'm bisexual, but closer to being straight than bisexual. But yeah, she's super hot. So, and she makes a lot of crazy claims, and so do TMZ and the Daily Beast. And also the New York Post does sometimes too. But then again, the New York Post made that claim without any evidence about the connection with Hunter Biden and his laptop, and that story from the New York Post being censored before the 2020 election between Trump and Biden, because it was not favorable to Biden, because it was about how his son wasn't involved with drugs and doing heroin and shit like that, and he allegedly had child porn in his computer and allegedly had some connections to Jeffrey Epstein, according to, and I know a lot of people don't believe this, according to my video about that subject, according to my friend who literally knows someone who knows Hunter Biden, who I've talked to on this podcast, but I never like to mention his name because he doesn't want people to know that he's presented that information. But anyway, this story sounds fucking awful. I hope it's not true. If it is true, Ezra Miller should go to prison for the rest of their fucking life, because that's some awful shit. But just remember to be skeptical when stuff like this comes out, because it sounds fucking awful. And again, I'm not defending Ezra Miller. I'm just saying be skeptical, try to get more information, and if it turns out to be true, prosecute him, prosecute Ezra or them. Sorry, I keep using the wrong gender pronoun. But anyway, just like if this shit is true, prosecute them to the full fucking extent of the law and put them in prison for the rest of their fucking lives if they actually are fucked up, crazy pedophile, which it seems like they are. So hopefully they're not, and if they do, they go to jail for the rest of their lives. All right, so I just wanted to comment on this because it's really dark and disturbing news, and it's blowing up all over the place. So thanks everyone for watching. I tried to be kind of neutral on this, so I hope you appreciate that. Thanks everyone for watching. Click that like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell to be notified when I come out with new videos. Check out the last one I did, which was on Beyond Rule 4 of Jordan Peterson's new book called Beyond Order, and how it was similar to the ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus's maxim, create your own merit. And this rule is, notice that opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated. And also coming up this weekend, finally going to be doing my movie chat with my friends Dusty and Chris, who I usually do movie chats with, on Taxi Driver, the 70s movie directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro, which is basically the first, or one of the first movies about incel mass shooters, which is unfortunately relevant right now due to recent mass shootings in Buffalo and Uvalde. And obviously, the Vietnam War and PTSD gets explored in that movie for one of the first times, especially since it was in the 70s as well. So check out that too. Got more Tremor clips coming up from podcasts as well. And I'm going to do another book video on another part of the Marxist Hegelian / Lacanian philosopher Slavoj Žižek's book called Less Than Nothing for my next video on a book. And yeah, thanks everyone again for watching. And always remember this: the funk cures all, and groove is in the heart. And be skeptical of news when it comes out, even if it sounds fucking terrible. But if the terrible things turn out to be true, then prosecute those people to the full extent of the law. And yeah, thanks everyone again, and adios until next time.